next door. Tonight, I have a super simple, elegant dinner. Steak with asparagus. Classic steakhouse dinner. It's gonna be literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ingredients as usual. And it's gonna be ready in 15 minutes. So, let me walk you through my ingredients. First and foremost, I got a beautiful ribeye steak here. So this is around 250 grams or so. Then I'm going to pair it with some fresh asparagus. For my flavor for the steak, I'm gonna be using 2 garlic cloves. I got some thyme here, some fresh oregano, and of course salt and pepper. This is the basic. And then I'm gonna use some butter to baste the steak. It's that simple. So with that, let's get steaking. So in order to time everything, the first thing we're gonna start with is the steak, because the steak has to cook first and it has to rest, which gives enough time for the asparagus to roast. And of course, I'm gonna be using my air fryer for the asparagus, 5 minutes. Guys, you can't beat that. So the first thing we're gonna do, and I wanna show you this, is I got my steak at room temperature. It's very important. You take out your meat 1 hour before you're gonna cook it and just rest it. Because this is going to help the meat to relax, come to room temperature, and this is the key to a beautifully cooked steak. So what you want to do is take some paper towels, and I'm going to be basically pressing down the steak because I want to remove any extra moisture. I mean, to get that beautiful sear on the steak, you need a dry surface. So the first thing we're gonna do is to make sure we soak off any moisture. That's it. As I'm doing this, I wanna get my pan heating. So when I'm done with the seasoning, I can just plop it in there. So I'm gonna turn it to a medium-high heat. And I'm going to get some olive oil in the pan. And a little dab of butter. And the butter is also soft. I took it out a little bit ago. Now the butter browns the crust really nicely. So I always combine olive oil with butter to get that beautiful, nice crust on my steak. So now what we're gonna do is season our steak. Make sure you season it well. So first salt. And a little pepper, and then you gently want to press it into the meat. Guys, I don't know if you have any of those moments, but sometimes honestly I crave a ginormous piece of steak, and that's when I allow myself to actually enjoy a piece of steak, because that means my body wants it. So, and when I do, I always go for ribeye. This is my favorite cut of steak. Perfect. This recipe couldn't be simpler. Honestly, we're gonna put the steak to cook, and then I'll turn on the air fryer. It'll heat up to 200 degrees. We're gonna roast the asparagus, and then it's gonna be time to eat. So I want this oil to heat up a little bit, because when I put the steak, I wanna hear that tss. And what we're gonna do is basically cook this steak for about 3-4 minutes on each side. It's like this thick. It's about 1 inch. So I'm gonna go with 3 minutes on each side because I like my steak medium. But if you like it well done, you know, you can do definitely 4 or 5 minutes on each side. So the oil starts to have little bubbles. That's a good indication. In the meantime, let's go ahead and put some olive oil on our asparagus and a little salt. You guys know the drill. It's that simple. So I'm just gonna let this sit here for a second. I can smell the butter. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop my beautiful steak. Now, when you put the steak, don't touch it. Just let it cook, okay? Because the more contact it has with the pan, it's gonna get that nice, beautiful crust. So don't move it, don't poke it, just let it do its thing. So I'm gonna give it 3 minutes now, and then we are going to be flipping it to the other side. Who doesn't like a little jazz, especially with an elegant steak dinner? Guys, when we turn the steak over, that's when I'm going to add a little bit more butter. I'm gonna drop in my garlic and my herbs so they can actually infuse the oil that the steak's gonna cook in. And then I'm gonna baste it with a spoon so it stays really nice and juicy. It smells insane in here. That steak is just flavoring the whole house. Guys, my steak is ready to flip. So let's take a look-see. Woo! Absolutely gorgeous. So now it's gonna be another 3 minutes here. Now in the meantime, I'm gonna drop in my garlic. Little fresh oregano. Delightful. Woo. I'm gonna throw in little thyme. Oh, smells so lovely. Now I'm gonna add a little bit more butter, and you wanna put the butter on top of the steak. Amazing. Guys, I want to show you this pan. Look at how beautiful this pan is. And those herbs, the oregano, I got the thyme, the garlic, and it's just flavoring my beautiful steak. Okay, so now I'm gonna baste. So I take this flavorful, beautiful butter and I pour it on top of my steak. So this is called basting. Basically what we're doing is we are just infusing the steak with all those nice herbs, the garlic, all that goodness, and we keep it moist. So, guys, I'm heating the air fryer to 200 degrees, and once it's ready to go, we're gonna put our asparagus in. It's just with olive oil and salt, and I'm gonna roast it for 5 minutes. That's it. In the meantime, the steak's gonna cool off. It's gonna rest, and then we're gonna cut into that juicy piece of ribeye. Let's baste it. Uh-oh, Bruno's back. Hi, sweetie. You want steak too? I know. Guys, it is time. My steak is cooked perfectly. Now I'm going to remove it from the heat and we are going to let it rest. Look at that gorgeous meat. We're gonna rest this now. It's very important. You wanna let your meat rest. It's gonna rest basically until the asparagus comes out of the air fryer. So that'll give it a good 5 minutes to rest, relax, and then it'll be time to eat. Guys, the asparagus is in the air fryer. Countdown begins. 5 minutes to go until dinner. Guys, the asparagus is done. Look at how beautiful these asparagus spears are. So I'm just going to randomly place them on my plate here. I think asparagus and steak are the best friends ever. Guys, now the moment of truth. I'm gonna go into the steak. So nice and lovely. So I'm just gonna cut some pieces. I honestly like a very simple steak. So let's go ahead and carry over some of this beautiful steak onto our plate. So nice and juicy. Now, guys, before I gotta taste this steak. It's perfectly cooked. No words. It's so buttery. Bruno's hungry. His food is back there. That's why. It's so juicy, so moist. Absolutely delicious. Guys, enjoy your steak dinner at home. Sending you lots of love. Stay tuned for more from Gourmet Next Door. Ciao!